अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय, अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय, अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. Welcome all to today's online Sahavas program organized by अवतार मेहर बाबा हैदराबाद सेंटर. अवतार मेहर बाबा हैदराबाद केंद्र द्वारा आयोजित आज के ऑनलाइन सहवास कार्यक्रम में आप सभी का स्वागत है. अवतार मेहर बाबा हैदराबाद केंद्रम वाరు నిర్వహిస్తున్న నేటి ఆన్లైన్ సహవాస్ కార్యక్రమానికి అందరికీ స్వాగతం. నమో మెహర్ బాబా ప్రార్థనా గీతంతో ఈ కార్యక్రమం ప్రారంభమవుతుంది.
నమో మెహర్ బాబా सकल चराचर जगन्नाथ, सकल चराचर जगन्नाथ, नमो मेहर बाबा वंदना नमो देव, नमो मेहर बाबा वंदना नमो देव. नमो मेहर बाबा नमो मेहर बाबा नमो देव, नमो मेहर बाबा नमो देव. ज्ञान दृष्टि संगी, ज्ञान दृष्टि संगी, हरिशरणं करि पदं, हरिशरणं करि अव्ययमोक्षं, अव्ययमोक्षं नमो मेहर बाबा वंदना नमो देव, नमो मेहर बाबा नमो मेहर बाबा वंदना नमो देव, नमो मेहर बाबा
Jai Baba. On this day, that is on 23rd January 1922, Meher Baba formed his first mandali. Coming to today's program schedule, we have Bhajans till 6:30, and at 6:30, talk by Shri Naosherwan Anzar. He will be sharing some of the wonderful anecdotes of beloved Baba's new life. And we also have Q&A session, and then Gist in Telugu follows. And at 7:30, beloved Baba's film, The Joy of Mankind. And from 7:45 onwards, Naam, Dhun, Silence, Prayers and Arti. ఈ రోజు కార్యక్రమం వివరాలు. ఈ రోజు ప్రత్యేకత ఏంటంటే 23 జనవరి 1922 రోజున ప్రీతమ బాబా తన మొట్టమొదటి మండలిని ఏర్పాటు చేశారు. ఈరోజు కార్యక్రమం వివరాల్లోకి వస్తే 6:30 వరకు మనకు భజన్స్ ఉంటాయి. 6:30 శ్రీ నౌషర్వాన్ అన్జార్ న్యూజెర్సీ యునైటెడ్ స్టేట్స్ నుంచి ప్రసంగిస్తారు. బాబా యొక్క నవజీవనానికి సంబంధించిన ఉదంతాలను ఆయన మనతో పంచుకుంటారు. అలాగే ఈరోజు మనకి క్వశ్చన్ అండ్ ఆన్సర్ సెషన్ కూడా ఉంటుంది నౌషర్వాన్ అన్జార్ గారితో. ఆ తర్వాత తెలుగు అనువాదం. 7:30 చలనచిత్రం ద జాయ్ ఆఫ్ మ్యాన్ కైండ్. 7:45 నుండి నామ్, ధున్, ప్రేయర్స్ మరియు ఆర్తి. నౌ నమ్రతా సోర్తే ఫ్రమ్ పూణే will sing one song in English.
अवतार मेर बाबा की जय. Who is the dawn form of the heart's awakening? I call him Meher, my friend and my king. Who is the dawn form of the heart's awakening? I call him Meher, my friend and my king. Meher Baba, 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 Meher Baba. He is the sight that I am longing to see. He is my true self is He. He is the sight that I am longing to see. He is my true self is He. Meher Baba, 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 Meher Baba. The scent of His name wonderfully sweet entices me on the way to His feet. The scent of His name wonderfully sweet entices me on the way to His feet. Meher Baba, 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 Meher Baba. Those who have mingled in the dust at His door to leave His presence desire nevermore. Those who have mingled in the dust at His door to leave His presence desire nevermore. Meher Baba, 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 Meher Baba. And when the veil is lifted, what will they sing? Glory to Meher, our friend and our king. And when the veil is lifted, what will they sing? Glory to Meher, our friend and our king. Meher Baba, 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 Meher Baba. The fairest fruit upon the creation tree. He is my true love is He. The fairest fruit upon the creation tree. He is my true love is He. Meher Baba, 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 Baba. Once more, Meher Baba, 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 Meher Baba की जय. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय.
జై బాబా నమ్రత. హైదరాబాద్ నుండి శైలజ ఇప్పుడు ఒక తెలుగు భజన పాడతారు.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. पाडवे 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 कोयिला पाडवे पाटगा प्रभु मेहर माता. पाडवे 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 कोयिला చిగురు మేతలో మాని చింతించే వేళని పొగులకి రగులకి పొదరిల్ల దూరకి చిగురు మేతలో మాని చింతించే వేళని పొగులకి రగులకి పొదరిల్ల దూరకి దిగులు మానవి సఖి పగులు నీ హృదయంబు. దిగులు మానవి సఖి పగులు నీ హృదయంబు. పగలిల్ల నీడు నీ పాటలీ విననీతి. పాడవే 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 కోయిలా. ఈనాటి నీ ప్రియుడు ఆనాటి కృష్ణుడే. నానాత్వభావమిల నాశమునరింపగా. ఈనాటి నీ ప్రియుడు ఆనాటి కృష్ణుడే. నానాత్వభావమిల నాశమునరింపగా. పరమ గురువులు పిలువ పరుగులిడి వచ్చిని. పరమ గురువులు పిలువ పరుగులిడి వచ్చిని. దురమేరాఖ్యుడే ధర సంచరించిని. పాడవే 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 కోయిలా. ప్రేమ స్వరూపుడే ప్రేమావతారమే. ప్రేమ హృత్కమలహిత ప్రేమ భాస్కరుడే. ప్రేమ స్వరూపుడే ప్రేమావతారమే. ప్రేమ హృత్కమలహిత ప్రేమ భాస్కరుడే. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
జై బాబా శైలజ గారు. నౌ ఎ గజల్ by brother Anant Nafde from Bhopal.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। इसी जान पे दे दूंगा मैं जान अपनी, इसी जान पे दे दूंगा मैं जान अपनी। अगर तुम न आए, अगर तुम न आए, इसी जान पे दे दूंगा मैं जान अपनी। अगर तुम न आए, अगर तुम न आए। बहुत पी चुकी है मेरी आंखें आंसू, बहुत पी चुकी है मेरी आंखें आंसू। बहुत जब्त की है तुम्हें क्या बताऊं, बहुत जब्त की है तुम्हें क्या बताऊं। बरस अब पड़ेगी भरी बज़्म में, बरस अब पड़ेगी भरी बज़्म में। अगर तुम न आए, अगर तुम न आए, इसी जान पे दे दूंगा मैं जान अपनी। अगर तुम न आए, अगर तुम न आए। ये आवाज दिल दफन रोते चली है, मेरी जिंदगी हो खोते चली है। ये आवाज दिल दफन होते चली है, मेरी जिंदगी हो खोते चली है। कफन फाड़ देगी मेरी चंद सांसें, कफन फाड़ देगी मेरी चंद सांसें। अगर तुम न आए, अगर तुम न आए, इसी जान पे दे दूंगा मैं जान अपनी। इसी जान पे दे दूंगा मैं जान अपनी। अगर तुम न आए बाबा, अगर तुम न आए, इसी जान पे दे दूंगा मैं जान अपनी। अगर तुम न आए बाबा, अगर तुम न आए।
జై బాబా బ్రదర్ అనంత్.
జై బాబా.
ఇప్పుడు నరసన్నపేట నుండి తాతబాబు గారు ఒక తెలుగు భజన పాడతారు.
మనసు తెలియదా ప్రభు, మనసు తెలియదా, మనసు తెలియదా ప్రభు, మనసు తెలియదా. విశ్వమనసు కలవానికి విశ్వేశ్వరుడగువానికి విశ్వమనసు కలవానికి విశ్వేశ్వరుడగువానికి ప్రేమామృత రసధారలు పృథివిని చల్లిన వానికి ప్రేమామృత రసధారలు పృథివిని చల్లిన వానికి మనసు తెలియదా ప్రభు మనసు తెలియదా సంస్కారములేవు తెలిసి అనువగు దేహం మునొసగి సంస్కారములేవు తెలిసి అనువగు దేహం మునొసగి ఆత్మనందు పదిలపరచి ఆట బొమ్మ విడిచిపెట్టి వెనుక నుండి ఆడిల్చి ఆట చూసి నవ్వుకొని వెనుక నుండి ఆడిల్చి ఆట చూసి నవ్వుకొని ఆటనైనా ఆడనీక ఆటలాడు ప్రియతమునికి మనసు తెలియదా నా మనసు తెలియదా ఒంటరిగా నుండలేక చూడముచ్చటని పిలిచే కుందనంపు బొమ్మలాగా కోరి ఆడ అరుదించి బొమ్మలతో ఆడి పాడి అంతలోనే మాయమైన బొమ్మలతో ఆడి పాడి అంతలోనే మాయమైన అందమైన ఆటగాడు ఆనందమునొసగువానికి మనసు తెలియదా నా మనసు తెలియదా ఈ బొమ్మకు ఆట నేర్పి ఆడించి పాడించి ఈ బొమ్మకు ఆట నేర్పి ఆడించి పాడించి ఆటలకు పాటలకు ఆట విడుపుతానే అవుతూ కొంత తడవు కాని మని అంతలోనే ఆపమంటే కొంత తడవు కాని మని అంతలోనే ఆపమంటే నవశమా పరవశమా ఇంకాస్త ఆడను మనసు తెలియదా ప్రభు మనసు తెలియదా నీ బొమ్మల కొలువులోన ఎన్నెన్నో బొమ్మలున్నా నీ బొమ్మల కొలువులోన ఎన్నెన్నో బొమ్మలున్నా మెచ్చినవి నచ్చినవి ఏరి కోరి ఎంచినవి నీతోనే ఉండాలని నీలోనే కలవాలని నీతోనే ఉండాలని నీలోనే కలవాలని మెహర్ శ్రీ మాటలలో వినిపించే విశ్వాత్మ మనసు తెలియదా ప్రభు మనసు తెలియదా విశ్వమనసు కలవానికి విశ్వేశ్వరుడగువానికి విశ్వమనసు కలవానికి విశ్వేశ్వరుడగువానికి ప్రేమామృత రసధారలు పృథివిని చల్లిన వానికి ప్రేమామృత రసధారలు పృథివిని చల్లిన వానికి మనసు తెలియదా ప్రభు మనసు తెలియదా బాబా మెహరు బాబా బాబా మెహరు బాబా బాబా మెహరు బాబా బాబా మెహరు బాబా मेहर बाबा मेहर बाबा अवतार मेहर बाबा की छे।
Jai Baba Tata Baba Garu. Moving on to the next segment of the program, talk by Shri Naosherwan Anzar. Over to you, Brother Kalyan, for the introduction.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. ప్రీతం బాబా ప్రసాదించిన నేటి అవకాశంలో మరొకసారి న్యూ జెర్సీ యుఎస్ఏ నుంచి నౌషర్వాన్ అన్జార్ గారు మన మధ్య ఈ ఆన్లైన్ సహవాస్ వేదికపై ఉన్నారండి. అయితే గ్లో ఇంటర్నేషనల్ మరియు బిలవెడ్ ఆర్కైవ్స్ ద్వారా వారు మనకి సుపరిచితులే. వారి తల్లిదండ్రులు ప్రీతం బాబా యొక్క నవజీవనంలో బాబాకి భిక్ష ఇవ్వడంలో మనం వారి గురించి విన్నాం. ఆ భాగ్యాన్ని వారి పొందినవారు. అయితే ఈ రోజు ఉన్న సమయంలో నౌషర్వాన్ గారు బాబా నవజీవనం సంబంధించిన కొన్ని కథల్ని మనతో పంచుకుంటారు. जय बाबा. आज हमारे साथ फिर एक बार न्यू जर्सी यूएसए से नौशरवान अंजार जी इस ऑनलाइन मंच पर हमारे साथ हैं. ग्लो इंटरनेशनल एवं बिलवेड आर्काइव्स द्वारा हम इन्हें बखूबी जानते हैं. आइए इनका सप्रेम स्वागत करते हैं जय बाबा के साथ. हमारे मन में श्री केकी के नालावाला का नवजीवन के समय बाबा के थैले में भिक्षा देता हुआ चित्र हमारे मस्तिष्क में आता है. आज नौशरवान जी प्रीतम बाबा के नवजीवन के संदर्भ में कुछ गाथाएं हमारे साथ बांटेंगे. जय बाबा. We are blessed to have Naosherwan ji yet again on this online Sahavas. We know him very well through Glow International and Beloved Archives. Naosherwan ji is fortunate to be born to blessed parents who had the opportunity of serving Beloved Baba, especially in Dehradun, also during the new life phase. Today, Naosherwan ji will share few anecdotes from Beloved Baba's new life. Coincidentally, during this week, Beloved Baba lit Dhuni at Meherazad, indicating the climax of his Manonach seclusion work. Naosherwan ji will speak about that as well towards the end. We would request all viewers on the YouTube to note that Naosherwan ji will take questions towards the end of the session. So request the questions to be posted on the YouTube chat window. జై బాబా అండి. నౌషర్వాన్ గారు చివరిలో ప్రశ్నలకి సమాధానాలు ఇస్తారు. సో ప్రశ్నలు ఉన్నవారు యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్ పై ఉన్న చాట్ విండోలో వారి ప్రశ్నల్ని అడగవచ్చు. జై బాబా. సారీ ఫర్ ది డిలే నౌషర్వాన్ జీ. హార్టీ వెల్కమ్. We are excited to hear from you yet again. Over to you, sir. జై బాబా.
Somehow, yeah. It's the pictures, yeah. Let me just remove the spin from here. Okay. Jai Meher Baba. Most of you know that I met Meher Baba I did not come to meet Meher Baba, but Meher Baba came to meet me 2 months after I was born in 1946. Am I coming through somehow or the other? I get the feeling that I'm not.
We can hear you well, sir. We can hear you well. The YouTube may say some delay, which is fine. I think it'll all be smooth.
Okay.
Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. So let me begin by telling you a few anecdotes about the new life. But the new life was an incredible phase of Meher Baba's ministry. In the new life, he was setting a new pattern for us for living in his presence in the now. The Mandali and his companions, who were known as his companions, simply followed in his footsteps as Baba walked the new life. But when some of them were asked what did they experience in the new life, they simply said that we experienced a breath of that real freedom. The past was cut off. The future was uncertain. It was only the present, only the now. Now, we often talk and read about the Mandali, the companions who walked with Meher Baba through the new life. But what about the families of those companions? They were absolutely devastated. As you all know, there were three alternatives. There were three parts of the new life in terms of acceptance. There was the yes walas, the no walas, and the arrangement walas. What happened to all those who were no walas, the families? And I'll begin today by telling you a little bit about what happened to Papa Jasawala, Iraj and Merwan's father. He was there when Baba declared the new life on August 1, 1949. And he did not gauge the immensity of Baba's words when Baba said that he would never see Iraj again, that Iraj would be a part of the new life, and that he would never see him again. And he would never see the family again. He would never see the Jasawala family again. So he came home, and there was a pall of sorrow, dejection. There was a very uncomfortable feeling in the Jasawala family at Bindra House. One day, Papa Jasawala got into an altercation with Manu, his daughter. And in the course of the altercation, he slapped her. He got up from the dining table and he went into a corner and started sobbing uncontrollably. And Merwan went to console him, and he said he had never ever laid his hands on his children. He didn't know what had overcome him. So this was the initial impact of Meher Baba's declaration of the new life. Khorshed and Sunamasi, two of the close ones in Baba's women Mandali, went to stay with Arnavaz Darachanji. Kitty, Rano, and Katie also was sent to Bombay to stay with the Darachanji family. And only 4 women joined him in the new life. Mera, Mani, Meru, and Dr. Gohar. So I just wanted to give you, since we are talking about anecdotes, small stories, these were the stories that were never told. These were stories that were kept away from those who were on the new life. So when Baba started walking in the new life, his first stop, they walked about 18 miles, which was an incredible distance to cover for somebody who had never, ever walked that kind of a distance. Baba was wearing sandals. His feet had blisters on them, on his feet. And fortunately, Mera was carrying a second pair of sandals for herself, and she immediately gave them to Baba to wear. So the way that they were walking was that the men walked ahead, and then there was Baba and the women Mandli. And Baba was also in between. He would keep going between the men and the women. At one point, Baba came rushing to Mani and said, "Quick, give me the orange that you have." So she had, just before leaving Merazad, she had kept a few fruits just in her little bag, in her little joli. And Baba took that orange and rushed over to Dr. Donkin. Now, Dr. Donkin had a very unusual physical condition, in which if he did not eat something, he would go into some kind of a shock. He would like a paralytic shock, and he would start shivering and shaking. So Baba rushed over, gave him the orange, and he ate it, and he was once again restored to his old self. So this is not Meher Baba, God in human form, but Meher Baba, the loving, compassionate, caring companion. This is who Meher Baba was. Ghani was unable to walk, and Baba propped him up with his cane and on his back, and he had him walk a short distance for periods of time. This is how he cared for his companions. So, among the many anecdotes, today I think I'll have time just to mention 3. And one story that that I'd like to share, which I am not too sure that many of you have heard or learned about. As you all know, that Baba would walk the new life, begging for food. The Mandli would go and beg. There are lots of stories narrated about how some of the Mandli would be able to collect some food. If they saw some smoke coming out from a nearby village, that would indicate that somebody was cooking. And they would then collect the food. It was not always a lot of food. It was, some people would give them food, some people would shoo them away. So one day they were passing through a village, and they collected a little bit of food, and they were sitting under a tree. Baba had distributed the food to all of them, and apparently the food was either not very appetizing or very little in quantity. And above, in the branches, there was a family of monkeys chattering. And one of the companions remarked, that I wonder what these monkeys are saying. And then he added with a tinge of sarcasm, just look at the food. He says he probably figured that these monkeys were saying, just look at the food these humans are eating. Baba was also sitting there, but he did not say anything. Now, this is what we learned from Erich in the later years. Many years later, towards the end of his physical life, Erich was alone with Baba and massaging his legs. Suddenly, Baba gestured to Erich and said, Erich, I know what little food you had so often. Perhaps no food at all, chapati now and again, tea without milk or sugar. Erich was perplexed. He says, Baba has never talked to me like this. What is he trying to say? And then Baba continued and said, but the time will come when men will give a handful of gold for a morsel of bread. And you, my mandli, will be inundated with food. And in the later years, this is exactly what happened. And then Baba paused and he said, that wasn't what the monkeys were saying by the wayside. What they were saying was how fortunate those people are to be eating with the Lord. That is what the monkeys were saying in the tree when we were having a very sparse meal that afternoon. So as this caravan continued, we come to a place called Belgaum. Baba started his new life on October 16th. Actually, the announcement for the new life was made on August 1. That was the significant date. But they left Mirazar on October 16. And they went to Super and Sirur and they walked the distance and finally ended up on October 20th in Belgaum. Now, many of you may have heard the story of Daulat Singh, but to me, the story focuses on the true meaning of the new life. And for those who may not have heard the story, I will narrate it in detail. So, the group of companions, I believe there were 24 of them, plus 4 women, or 24 in all, if I recollect correctly. So they came to Belgaum and Baba said, let's camp under this grove of trees. And they all camped in this grove of trees. Kalyan, please keep on telling me. I can't see any of the faces, so tell me when you want me to stop, okay?
Sure, sir. We'll do that.
Yeah, otherwise I'll keep on going on and on.
All right.
Okay. So, Erich's job was to set up a tent for Baba. So he would put the pegs and the tent and Baba would rest inside the tent. And then in the morning he would wrap up the tent and carry it. So this was Erich's job. Erich's job was to look after Baba's physical needs. That was his job. I have interviewed Erich extensively on the new life, and it's very interesting to get glimpses of it. So most of the stories that I will narrate to you were narrated to me by Erich. And of course, there were several in which my father and mother participated in Dehradun. But let's get back to Belgaum. So in Belgaum, they set themselves up, they put their their sleeping bags, and a number of them went off to sleep. They were exhausted. They had never walked so much. But Baba was still awake, and he nudged Irich and he said, let's walk around the encampment and see how everybody is doing, whether they're comfortable, whether they're sleeping well. And as they walked past, they saw everybody was sleeping. At one point, Baba suddenly stopped. And he tells Irich, do you hear some kind of a kind of a sound coming in the distance? He said, yes, Baba, I do hear the sound. And they walked in that direction of the sound. And what do they see? They see one of the companions, Daulat Singh, sitting on a log and sobbing. And as you all know, one of the main conditions of the new life was not to show your emotions at all. Whatever you feel, it had to be internalized. And here was Daulat Singh breaking one of the prime conditions of the new life. He was sobbing. So as they came in front of him, he was completely taken aback. And he said, Baba, I wasn't expecting you. So Baba said, what's the matter? Why are you sobbing? So he said, Baba, today is the day when my daughter is getting married. Incidentally, Daulat Singh was from Hyderabad. So this was the day when my daughter was getting married. So when you called me and I was a yes wala, my daughter's wedding was just a few days away. And she begged and pleaded with me not to leave. And then, but I had to leave. And I left. And here I am. And today is the day. Today is the day when it's my daughter's wedding. And the thought, but before I left, she angrily said, now I know that you are not my father. Because if you were my father, you would have stayed on for the wedding. And but you called and I had to come. So Baba said, now you take rest just now. We'll talk about it in the morning. So in the morning, everybody gathered. And Baba said, ask Daulat to once again narrate to the companions what he had narrated that previous night to Baba and Irich. And Daulat Singh narrated it. And Baba said, you know what this means. It means that you have to leave the new life. You have to leave the companionship, not the new life, but you have to lead the group. So Daulat Singh said, yes, Baba, I do realize that. I have broken the prime condition of the new life. So Baba asked Pendu, who carried just 6,000 rupees. And this 6,000 rupees was to primarily buy fodder for the animals or for any emergencies. So from that amount, a little bit was given to Daulat Singh. And Baba said, now take this money, but continue and follow the new life. So Daulat Singh left, and Irich said that he had never felt such grief as he felt at that moment in his heart. But he could not express that grief. Everybody felt grief at seeing Daulat Singh leave, a man who had dedicated himself to Baba. So Daulat Singh spent his... So then the companions carried on, and then they went to Banaras, and then they went to Dehradun, and eventually Baba was in Satara. The new life had not really come to an end. So it came to an end around in 1952. So the phase of the new life came to an end in 1952. The new life is endless, as you know. We are today experiencing it. So Baba is sitting in this bungalow which had been rented for him, and Irich was there, and he turns to Irich and he says, Irich, go out and see if there is anyone sitting outside. And Irich goes out and he says, comes back, Baba, no one is sitting. Always remember, Baba always asked a question three times. So he sends Irich again, and he says, no, go and have a closer look, see if anybody is sitting outside. So Irich walks a little distance, and he still doesn't see, comes back. He says, Baba, I don't see anyone sitting outside. He says, no, go and see, walk a little distance and see. As he's walking a little distance, he sees a small image of a man sitting on the side of the road. He walks to that man and he's completely taken aback. He's shocked to see that it is Daulat Singh sitting on the roadside. He comes back to Baba. So he tells Daulat Singh, what are you doing here? He said, I had heard that Baba was here, and perhaps he might give me bhiksha. So he goes and tells Baba, and Baba says, Daulat Singh is here. Baba, Daulat Singh is here. He says, call him in right away. And Daulat Singh comes in Baba's presence. And he asks Daulat Singh, so what happened after you left Belgaum, after you left the group? He said, Baba, I went home. And my wife and my daughter and my family welcomed me. That day, when I reached home, they welcomed me. But then the next morning, I set out to beg. As per the condition of the new life. It was the begging phase. And my family was shocked. Then they approached several leaders of the Sikh community in Hyderabad and asked that they intervene and explain to him that this was a stain on the Sikh community and that he should stop doing that. If he needed food, they would supply the food to him every day. If he needed money, they would supply money. But he should stop doing this. Stop going out and begging for food. But he would not listen. He was committed to Baba's conditions. So finally, there was disagreement in the family. They beat him up and they threw him out of the house. So he traveled from place to place begging for food. And then he ended up in Satara and in Baba's presence. When Baba heard this, there were tears, not in Daulat Singh's eyes, but in Baba's eyes. In Baba's eyes, there were tears. And Baba said, you have fulfilled the true meaning of the new life, of helplessness and hopelessness. Now I free you from all the conditions. Go back to your family, restart your life as a physician, and establish yourself again. And Daulat Singh went back. He became a successful physician, which is what his profession was. And then Baba had said that I will see you at your home at some point. Some years went by, and one day Irich and Baba were in a certain area in Hyderabad. And, Baba always showed ignorance. He says, isn't Daulat Singh living somewhere around here? And Irich said, yes, Baba, he is somewhere here. So they asked around and they found Daulat Singh's house. When they went in, Daulat Singh was sitting on the floor. And next to him was an empty chair. Baba went in and sat on that empty chair. And Daulat Singh was completely taken aback. He started shedding tears of love. And then after some time, Baba told him, I'm very pleased with you. And he was about to leave, and he said, Baba, please have a cup of tea. He says, no, I'm full. I'm full with your love. And Baba left. A short while later, Daulat Singh died with Baba's names on his lips. So this is the story of Daulat Singh. And I'm sure that all of you in Hyderabad will know of this very great devotee and disciple of Meher Baba. How are we doing, Kalyan?
Jai Baba sir. We have time, sir. We are only into the 2 stories. We have time for the third, and then maybe more as well.
Okay.
No questions so far, so we'll keep our eyes open for any questions.
Okay, good. So I have several stories about Banaras as well, but I won't narrate that. Banaras and Haridwar and stories of Sarnath. We'll hold off on those. But when we come to Dehradun, I'll tell you a story that is as touching as the one that I just mentioned to you. 36 Lytton Road. You will come across this address very often in the New Life circulars, in the New Life diaries. 36 Lytton Road was my family home, was the home of the Nalawalas. My father's name was Keki Nalawala. My mother's name was Feni Nalawala. My name is Naosherwan Nalawala, and my sister's name at that time was Maruk Nalawala. Now she's widowed, and her name is Maruk Modi and lives in Houston, Texas. So Baba met my father the very first time in 1941, and then again in 42, and then in the later years, and then in 46, when my mother met him for the first time, when Baba came over to our house for lunch. And at that time, he took me in his arms and went from room to room, room to room. And at that time, my mother knew that I was his. She knew that at that time, that I was his. Then Baba came in 1950 for the new life. So when he came in 1950, he stayed in when he first came, he stayed in a place called Dalanwala. And it's a small little place in Dehradun. I was born in Dehradun. And so Baba stayed there because the house in Majri Mafi was not ready. Baba stayed in Majri Mafi, which is about 4 miles from where we lived at 36th Little Road. And that was the home of the Kumar family, Shatrughan Kumar and his family. Amrit was a little baby at that time when Baba was in the new life. In any case, she'll be able to tell you stories of her family's life with Baba during the new life. So my father had to meet Baba every morning at 6 o'clock. And he would meet Baba, and if all the mail would come to our house, care of, mail for Mayor Baba, and the newspaper would come, and my father would go and read all the mail to Baba as early as 6:30 in the morning. He would cycle to where Baba was staying. I remember on one of the days, another Baba Laba who was there, who was my father's contact, was Keki Desai from Delhi. And Keki Desai was also instructed to come early in the morning to be with Baba. So one day he came, they both used to cycle to Baba, to Daranwala. In those days, all of them didn't have the means to travel by Tonga or taxi and things like that. So they would cycle to see Baba. So he came hurriedly, he was getting late. Keki Desai was cycling feverishly. He came, he threw his cycle on the side and apologized to Baba for being late. And so Baba said, and he was panting. So Baba said, "Did you cycle and come?" He said, "Yes, Baba." He said, "From today onwards, never cycle again." And he never cycled again. But that doesn't mean that nobody in the world should cycle. It was an instruction that was given to Keki Desai. So several different people were given instructions. I was given certain instructions, which I followed. Abdul Ghani was given instructions. Several people were given instructions by Baba. My mother were given instructions. So one of the main instructions that had been given to my father was that nobody should know that Baba was in Dehradun. Nobody should know. So he strictly abided by that instruction. So one day, there was a knock on the door at midnight. My father peered through the window and he sees a Sardar standing there. And he asked him, "Who are you?" He said, "My name is Todi Singh." "Where have you come from?" He said, "I've come from Aligarh." He said, "Why have you come here?" He says, "Because I saw a vision and a great being is going to come to this house. He has come to this house. I saw this in a vision." My father completely denied. He had to lie. Baba had told him not to tell anybody that he was there. He says, "No, you're mistaken. There's no such person over here. No, go away from here. There's no such person." Todi Singh turns up the next day, during the day, and he knocks on the door again. And my mother said that she felt very bad. She felt very badly to turn this man away. So he said, "Look, in my vision, there is this great being who has told me to bring foodstuffs. So my father looks out of the window and he sees a long line of bullock carts outside the door on the road. And they were piled with, then he walks up to them and he sees there were potatoes and onions and ghee and vegetables and all kinds of things. So my father says, why have you brought this? He says, I've been instructed by this man who's come in my vision to come with all these things. I have come from Aligarh. Now, Todi Singh was he had a business of Keventer butter. Keventer butter is a very famous English brand of butter. And he said that, and so he was the sole supplier of that butter. So he had brought a lot of butter as well. I guess he must have kept it in ice. So anyway, the following morning, he goes to Baba, my father, as was his duty every day. And he says, so Baba says, any news? And my father's exact words were, Baba, there's a headache. He says, really? What's the matter? He says, Baba, there is a man who says that he saw you in a vision and that you had instructed him to bring a lot of foodstuffs and so forth. So he's come with 4-5 bullock carts of food. So Baba said, ask him to come. Baba showed no surprise. Apparently, he was expecting him. So the man comes, Todi Singh comes, and he's in front of Baba, and Baba was sitting with all the companions. And immediately he points to Baba and says, this man told me to come. So Baba says, okay, now that you are here, and you have come with all these things, what do you expect of me? Am I going to cook all this food? He says, no, Baba, my wife and 2 daughters have come with me and they will cook for you every single day. So Baba said, okay. He arranged for my father to set them up at the Dharamshala, at the place where pilgrims stay. And every day they cooked food for Baba and the companions and brought them. Gradually, as he came closer and closer to Baba, he became must-like. And you asked Todi Singh, where are you going? Baba Jane. Baba knows. Todi Singh, have you brought food for Baba? Baba Jane. Every sentence that you asked him, his answer was Baba Jane. Some people laughed at this, but some people took it very seriously. In essence, Todi Singh had become a must. His entire focus was Baba. So after a couple of months, or a month or so, after he fed Baba and the Mangli and the companions every day in Majri Mafi, Baba told him to go back to Aligarh. And he was distraught. He started sobbing and Baba said, no, it's time for you to go back now. So he reached Aligarh with his family, went back with his wife and daughters. And he thought to himself, he thought to himself that Baba is a very tricky avatar. He might turn up at my house as a beggar and ask for bhiksha, for alms, and I may not recognize him. So what he did was, now he was a wealthy man. He set up what is known as a langar. Those who know Sikhs, what Sikhs do is they set up a place where their families cook food and distribute food to the poor. That is known as a langar, or a place where they distribute food. So he said he put all his resources into setting up this langar, and for years he distributed food to the poor in the hope that one day Baba would come and ask for bhiksha and that he would not miss him. He put all his resources into this langar, and he became a fairly poor man, and then he died with Baba's name on his lips. This is the story of Todi Singh. Baba Jane. Baba knows. And talking about Baba knows, my father, Keki Nagawala, was a terrible worrier. He worried a great deal. In fact, everybody would laugh at him and say that Keki is worried about something that he's nothing to worry about. So he was a worrier. So one day when Baba came to our house, my mother complained to him. Says, Baba, Keki worries a great deal. He worries about something when there's nothing to worry about. He's a worrier, Baba. Please explain to him. So Baba explained to him at that time. But one day what happened was that my father ran a Singer sewing machine company. He was an employee of the Singer sewing machine company. And they decided to shut the company down in India. And my father had two choices. One was to be without a job, and the other was to take over all the inventory of sewing machines. So when Baba was in Dehradun, Baba was not in Dehradun when this happened, but when he was in Dehradun, my father would egg Baidul. Tell Baba to make me the boss of Singer Company. Tell Baba to make me the boss of Singer Company. And Baidul would then go to Baba and say, Baba, why don't you make Keki the boss of Singer Company instead of boss? And Baba would laugh and the companions would laugh and dismiss it. Baba never answered. Now it came to the crunch. Singer Company was closing down its operations in India. My father was without a job. He had the option of buying up and starting his own. He was not an entrepreneur. So he wrote this sad, pathetic letter. He was worried stiff. He was devastated. He wrote a sad, sad letter to Baba. Baba, what should I do? I have only one option of taking over the inventory and of starting my own business. I have a wife who doesn't keep well. I have 2 children. So he wrote this sad letter to Baba. And this is what Baba cabled. And please listen to every word of this cable, because I'm reading it word for word what Baba said, and it applies to each one of us. So Baba wrote, don't worry, all will be well. God is Malik. This was the cable he sent. Don't worry, all will be well. God is Malik. Letter follows. And in that letter, Baba wrote, have no fear at all. Have no fear at all. Our God is Almighty. He is the Lord, and He will make you dance according to His wish. You must start your new business without a second thought or any worry. Why don't you become the boss? This is in reference to what Baidul had mentioned to Baba about making him the boss. Why don't you become the boss, since my nazar is on you? What are you afraid of? Have hope, have courage, be courageous, and carry out your work successfully. Where there is honesty and purity of heart, there is God. So don't give up his company. Why are you worried about old age now? You have to grow young now. Do not be afraid. The plan you have outlined should be put into practice, and get ready to be the boss. So Baba sent him this letter, and my father decided he had strength. You must have noticed in this note, Baba does not use the word me. He does not, because during the new life, the word God was always used. Baba did not use the word me. So when he says God, he means me, but he mentions God. So my father launched his business, he became successful, and then he retired. So this was another little instance of Baba taking care of his dear ones. Is there any time left, or would you prefer to ask me any questions?
We're just looking at the YouTube, Jai Baba Naosherwan ji. We're looking at the YouTube chat. No questions from the YouTube input. We have about 3-4 minutes. So if you have any other anecdote that you wish to share, please go ahead, sir.
Okay, I'll share you one small little story.
Okay.
So during the new life, just before Baba left for New Delhi, he had moved from Majri Mafi. He wanted to stay for a brief period in Dehradun proper. So during the new life, everybody had to earn a living. Mani Mera and the women Mandli, they made little puppets, but Mani and Gohar did not keep very good health, so they were not very active. So Naja was called to do the cooking. And they couldn't cook at that time. And Dr. Donkin was asked to set up a dispensary. So my father was asked to look for a place. And as it turned out, he found a place right across the road from our house. We were at 36 Lytton Road, and this was at 29 Lytton Road, across the road. So when the realtor, he asked for when my father went to the realtor, he told him that he needed a bribe in order to rent the place. So my father had to give him a sewing machine, which is what he asked for. Anyway, the house was made available to Baba for that period. And Dr. Donkin set up his dispensary. He used to dress up every morning, come in the morning, go in the evening. He had no patients. My parents were asked to go out and get some patients for him. It was a phase of Baba's life. He wanted to put him through. So, and my mother would give him breakfast every morning. He would come over and have lunch. And so that was a very short period when Dr. William Donkin had his dispensary. After that, Baba and the women Mandli came and stayed at this house. In fact, there was a very funny little incident that happened at this time. My father was getting the house ready, and Baba asked him to make a hearth. Chula, jise kehte hain, made out of mud. It was made in the kitchen. And my father was asked to make this hearth, chula. And my father, poor man, he had no idea. He wasn't very good with his hands. He didn't know what to do. He did something that Baba asked him to do. And when it was ready, he went to Baba, and Baba said, I asked you to make a hearth, a chula, and you've made a toilet. So this was a little bit of a funny incident that had happened while he was preparing this house for Baba. So there were two little incidents that I'll mention to you at the tail end. One was that I was permitted to walk across, although my father and my mother were to go and see him at 4 o'clock in the afternoon every day. I had the liberty of walking in and out whenever I liked and go and meet Mani and Mera and the women Mandli and see Baba. And I was a little boy, 5 years old, 6 years old. So one day I go to 29 Little Road I walk across the road and Mani meets me and Mani says, and I ask Mani auntie, where is Baba? And Mani auntie says, oh, he's lying down in the other room. Go and see him there. So I go in and I see Baba lying on the floor. Baba often used to sleep on the floor. So I go in, I come out, and I say, Mani auntie, why is Baba sleeping on the floor? So he says, why don't you go and ask Baba? So I go in and I spend quite some time with Baba, and I come out, and Mani asks me, did Baba tell you? And I said, yes, Baba explained to me why he sleeps on the floor. Now, this is not my story. This is Mani's story. Mani used to narrate this story about my going inside and talking to Baba. What she was emphasizing in this story was that it could be a 5-year-old child speaking to Baba, or a philosopher, or a Swami, or a yogi, or a Mahatma, or anybody, or a philosopher. Baba could communicate in silence, freely, and explain everything to them. So silence was never an impediment to Baba's communicating with people. So these were two small little instances. So to bring this to an end, in the new life, Meher Baba was setting a pattern for us for living in his presence, in the now, the present moment, the active present, forgetting all else as we walk on the path towards the goal. The new life was a pilgrimage with him as a companion, a friend, and a brother. The companions were told at that time to have no thought of either departure or arrival. So what does the new life mean for all of us today? To all of us today, the new life is living with Baba in the active present, in his eternal now. In reality, we are on an actual life led by Meher Baba as a brother, a friend, a companion, as a man, not as God in human form, but as a man. When he laid aside being the avatar and placed himself in duality with his companions. So what did Baba emphasize was that we are all unconscious of our divinity. Baba tells us that he has to make us conscious of our divinity. And how does he do that? He gives us the gift of conviction. He gives us the gift of conviction. And it is this conviction that has brought each one of you in his presence. What do you need to do now? Simply to hold on to his Daman firmer and firmer, repeat his name over and over again all day long. And I add to this. While Baba has given you the gift of his companionship, I beseech you, I appeal to you to share the gift that he's given you with everyone you meet, wherever you meet. Give them the gift of Meher Baba's name. Jai Meher Baba simply does not mean victory to Meher Baba. He is only victorious when you share his name with others. In 1962, during the East-West gathering, I was sitting on the stage with him, and there was this mass of people in the audience, and somebody would shout, Jai Meher Baba, and Baba's hand would go to his heart. He would be talking to somebody, and somebody would say, Jai Meher Baba, and his hand would go to his heart. I noticed this each time that this happened. So Jai Meher Baba is not simply good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, because he wants you to be victorious. And only then is Meher Baba victorious. And how is he victorious? When you share his name with others. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai.
Jai Baba Naosherwan ji, very heart-touching anecdotes from the new life. There are two questions.
Yes, I can't see anyone.
Yeah, well, all of us are Zoom, and the viewers on YouTube are watching you live. So unfortunately, YouTube is one way, right? They can see you, but their videos are not visible in this mode of arrangement that we have. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So while the two questions are, Naosherwan ji, the first question is, when really indeed Baba, you went in to ask Baba while he was sleeping on the floor, what was the answer you heard from him?
I wish I remembered it. I don't remember it, but I was 5 years old, so I don't remember what he gave me an answer. But this is the story that Mani often narrated in Mandli Hall about my meeting with Baba. Of course, every other meeting with Baba and my conversations with him, I remember every word. With Baba, you don't forget anything. And always remember, every word that Baba uttered, every word, at that moment, it's just conversation. It may not have that same impact. But after you leave his presence, you say to yourself, oh my God, this is what Baba meant. This is what Baba meant to tell me. And that's when you follow what he had to say.
Thank you very much, Naosherwan ji.
What's the second question?
The second question was regarding the Dhuni that we mentioned. Baba lit the Dhuni to indicate the climax of the Manona seclusion work he did. He had few words about giving up rites and ceremonies of all religions, and then Baba with his own hands tore that paper into pieces and threw it into the Dhuni fire.
Okay, so let me share that with you.
Sure.
So it was on January 31, 1952 at 7 in the evening that the Dhuni was lit. So Erich was given a piece of paper to read the following by Baba. O source of infinite knowledge, Almighty God, you know that I did all that was humanly possible for me in this ordinary state, and I leave the result entirely to your will and sanction. By the 16th of February 1952, what you have decided. From now on, I free myself from external religious ceremonies that I observed during the new life and the Manonash period. So this was a form of prayer that Baba uttered on January 31 at 7 in the evening. Baba had previously instructed Iraj to write these words down on a piece of paper. All rites, rituals, and ceremonies of all religions of the world are hereby consumed in the flames. Baba had the paper in his pocket, and as the dhuni burned, he took it out, tore it into pieces, threw it into the flames, and watched it burn. When the dhuni died out, Baba filled 2 tins with its ash, and he said, "This ash should not be used by anyone for any purpose whatsoever." And the tins were kept, and they're still there in that little room at Hyderabad. The next morning, on Friday, February 1st, 1952, at 7:58 in the morning, Baba came out of his seclusion cabin. No sooner did he step out than Nilu, according to Baba's order, loudly invoked Om Parabrahma Paramatma. And then all the companions repeated the same in unison. And I want you to share with me Om Parabrahma Paramatma. Jai Meher Baba.
Jai Baba Naosherwan ji, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think the YouTube, the responses on the YouTube chat, probably you cannot see it at this point in time. All of them are thanking you. So on behalf of the Baba family, which is watching this program, thank you so much for the wonderful anecdotes. Jai Meher Baba.
Jai Meher Baba, and thank you very much, all of you. Hyderabad is very close to my heart. It's my family. Jai Meher Baba.
Jai Baba. Over to you, Brother Santosh.
Moving on to the next segment of the program, Baba's film, The Joy of Mankind. In this film, we can see beloved Baba lighting the dhuni in September 1954.
మనసు తెలియదా ప్రభు మనసు తెలియదా మనసు తెలియదా ప్రభు
Jai Baba. Now one announcement, and then Naam Dhun follows.
Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Beloved Baba's 52nd Amar Tithi online program will be celebrated on the 30th and 31st of January 2021. The online program is scheduled to start on 30th of January at 12:30 p.m. The details of the program and schedule will be posted on the Avatar Meher Baba Trust website. All are requested to access the schedule from the Trust website. On this account, we will not have the weekly Sahavas sessions on the Saturday and the coming Sunday. Jai Baba. प्रीतम बाबा की 52वीं अमर तिथि ऑनलाइन कार्यक्रम 30 एवं 31 जनवरी को मनाया जाएगा। दोपहर के 12:30 बजे से यह कार्यक्रम चालू होगा। यह कार्यक्रम का विवरण अवतार मेहर बाबा ट्रस्ट वेबसाइट से पाया जा सकता है। ప్రీతం బాబా వారి 52వ అమర్తిథి ఆన్లైన్ కార్యక్రమం 30వ తారీఖున ప్రారంభమవుతుందండి। 30 జనవరి 2021 మధ్యాహ్నం 12:30 నుంచి కార్యక్రమం ప్రారంభమవుతుంది। అది 31 తెల్లవారుజామున అనగా మొదటి ఫిబ్రవరి తెల్లవారుజామున 3 గంటల వరకు ఉంటుంది। ఈ కార్యక్రమం యొక్క షెడ్యూల్ మరియు వివరాలు అవతార్ మెహర్ బాబా ట్రస్ట్ వారి వెబ్సైట్ పై చూడగలరు। ఇందు కారణంగా వచ్చే వారం ఈ యొక్క వీక్లీ సావాస్ కార్యక్రమం జరగదు। అవతార్ మెహర్ బాబా కీ జై।
Now Naam Dhun. Jai Baba. Let us observe silence for few moments. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Now prayers and Arti.
O Worthy God, the preserver and protector of all, you are without beginning and without end, non-dual, beyond comparison, and none can measure you. You are without color, without expression, without form, and without attributes. You are unlimited and unfathomable, beyond imagination and conception, eternal and imperishable. You are indivisible, and none can see you but with eyes divine. You always were, you always are, and you always will be. You are everywhere, you are in everything, and you are also beyond everywhere and beyond everything. You are in the firmament and in the depths. You are manifest and unmanifest, on all planes and beyond all planes. You are in the three worlds and also beyond the three worlds. You are imperceptible and independent. You are the Creator, the Lord of Lords, the knower of all minds and hearts. You are omnipotent and omnipresent. You are knowledge infinite, power infinite, and bliss infinite. You are the ocean of knowledge, all-knowing, infinitely knowing, the knower of the past, the present, and the future, and you are knowledge itself. You are all-merciful and eternally benevolent. You are the soul of souls, the one with infinite attributes. You are the Trinity of truth, knowledge, and bliss. You are the source of truth, the ocean of love. You are the Ancient One, the highest of the high. You are Prabhu and Parameshwar. You are the Beyond God and the Beyond God also. You are Parabrahma, Allah, Ilahi, Yastan, Ahura Mazda, and God the Beloved. You are named Isa, the only one worthy of worship. We repent, O God, most merciful, for all our sins, for every thought that was false or unjust or unclean, for every word spoken that ought not to have been spoken, for every deed done that ought not to have been done. We repent for every deed and word and thought inspired by selfishness, and for every deed and word and thought inspired by hatred. We repent most especially for every lustful thought and every lustful action, for every lie, for all hypocrisy, for every promise given but not fulfilled, and for all slander and backbiting. Most especially also we repent for every action that has brought ruin to others, for every word and deed that has given others pain, and for every wish that pain should befall others. In your unbounded mercy, we ask you to forgive us, O God, for all these sins committed by us, and to forgive us for our constant failures to think and speak and act according to your will. Beloved God, help us all to love you more and more, and more and more, and still yet more, till we become worthy of union with you, and help us all to hold fast to Baba's Daman till the very end. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Asha Bhato